Davey Lloyd, I think we need to address the elephant in the room, because my YouTube viewers and people who are seeing this on socials are probably looking at you like, where do I know you from? Where do I know you from? Myself included, because I didn't want to look you up too much. I like to keep things as organically. And I'm looking at you, I'm like, was it Love Island? Was it Home and Away?
I wish it was Home and Away, because like the one, or even Love Island. I wish it was those, but it wasn't. It was actually The Bachelorette and The Bachelor in Paradise twice. I did that.
Okay.
So I did Bachelorette with Sam Frost. It was the first season ever in Australia. And I was actually, it was 2015, 10 years ago.
Wow.
I was 25. Youngest one there, and I was the first one to meet her. I'll tell you the intro with it. Like I obviously we're on here. I'd come from a big weekend, right? I'd been probably just had 15 eckies and caps and whatnot. And I think I finished up partying on like the Monday morning and Friday, and then had to do leave the house and go on Tuesday to start filming. And I was like in a ball of anxiety. I was shaking and shit. And I remember getting to like the roller doors. I was meeting all the producers, and I just like, my bag got stuck in the roller door, and I was like trying to pull it, and I was so anxious, and I was just like, you know, a puppy with like dumb legs, you know. But I was going in there as well. I was the first one to meet her, and I was in the limo with my mate Dave Billsborough, and we were chatting, and he's like, I just came off a bender. I'm like, what the fuck? You're lying. You're stitching me up. Like, you're obviously trying to get news out of me. Like, I don't know who's fucking trying to stitch me up. But he was like, oh, I came from a bender, and I was like, we're automatically going to be mates, because that's like, you know, you did drugs. That was a cool thing. You connected. And limo pulled up, and I got out of the car, and I was like, oh my God, like panic attack, like shaking, and I was probably still the come down happening. And I remember her sitting like so far away, this hallway of lights, and then just producers, and I was like, I've never done anything like this in my life. And I remember all the guys had all these like plots and stuff to do, and they're like, okay, you can go meet her now. And I'm like, got out of the car and fucking walk past a pot plant with fake flowers and grab the fake flowers out of it, put them behind my back, and went and met her. And then I cut her off halfway through because I was so nervous. And I went, it's a pleasure to fucking meet you. Oh my God, I just fucking swore. And then I give flowers, you give flowers. And I just ate my own words. It was so embarrassing. And then I remember me walking away going, I have just become the biggest kook on national TV, but it didn't get any better after that. Like, the first intro was horrible. The next like 3 weeks were just shitty interactions because I was so nervous and I was still like way out of my comfort zone. So
can I tell you something?
Yeah.
And I think majority of my listeners don't know this about me. I was on a reality show for 4 seconds. I was on Big Brother.
No way.
And I feel like I catfished the producers because they scouted me from when I used to have an old podcast about bendering, sex and drugs.
Yep.
Which is funny because I don't have any of those things now. But It was basically about that, right? And I was the ultimate party girl. They said that they would get me through right to the end, which they did. But I lured them in on this like crazy personality. I think I was even like wearing a bikini cat and a bikini and a cowboy hat in my video. Like, you should dump your boyfriends and come drink with me. I was this like crazy 27-year-old. Then they stripped me of my vices and I went into the house and I was completely different. Hence why I lasted about 4 seconds, because I was actually I realized I was really stable, like when I was sober, and I was really empathetic and all of these things which I would have written off as boring when I was drinking, and I completely catfished them. How did you go without your vices, or back in those days were you allowed to drink a lot? Because we weren't allowed to drink.
Thank you for opening up about that.
I hate it. I feel like it's like a stain on my name. I don't like being connected to reality television. Yeah. And everything I do in this freaking sobriety space, all these articles that like have been written about me, all organic media, nothing's been paid. The first thing they do is Big Brother star, and I hate it so much. It's like, it feels like it takes away from all of my other achievements. Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on. I cut you off.
So fine. What was the question? I forgot.
I think you were just going to relate. I said,
Oh yeah, so the drinking. So what actually happens is, because I have that switch of it's just like go, 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 go. And I guess I'm the youngest of three boys. I'll go into a little bit. I'm the youngest of three boys. I had a brother who passed away. My mum and dad worked a lot to put food on the table. And I guess as the youngest one, I never felt love at home, but it was all mum and dad were doing was working and trying to, put food on the table, like I said. But I never thought I was seen. And so I attached myself to the partying world. Now that for me was where I was seen. That is where I connected with. That is where, I was cool. And as I was I guess I was a popular guy in school, and I never detached myself away from that aura and that connectedness I had when I was partying.
Mm-hmm.
So when I went to how I got scouted to go on reality TV, I was putting all these bendering photos up, like you just said.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, fuck, it'd be pretty funny. And how I got on was because they said in 3 words, what could you explain? In 3 words, sorry. in 3 words, how could you explain yourself? And I said, full-blown legend. And then that's what obviously went, all right, we're just going to fuck with this guy because he's a cocky little party boy.
Mm-hmm.
And that was my persona. And when I went in there, I was like, holy shit, like I've got social anxiety, which I didn't realize or pick up on. And I just got to mask it and get into my
the party boy persona,
ego,
yeah.
and just get fucked up. And the first night I got absolutely blotto. That I know I shouldn't say that, but the next night they pulled me aside and said, you got to cut it out. And they told all the bar staff that you need to monitor his drinks. And this was just like standard, oh, Davey's got to get his drinks monitored. Mm-hmm. So I was only allowed 2 drinks when they were doing that, but I would sneak off and scull some. But I did find myself really in a weird limbo of trying to be me, but trying to also be a different person, because I knew whatever I was going to be cast as something that it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I found myself in situations, so many awkward situations where like you say something you think's funny and no one fucking laughs. And it was like a pin drop, and I was like, oh, like I know people got secondhand embarrassment or awkwardness from it, but I fucking said it. So and it was always in front of Sam Frost. And I was like, this girl is going to think I'm a loser. I've told her I'm a full-blown legend. I'm coming in here like a cocky party boy, but I'm just a scared little boy. And I guess progressively as the show went on, I don't know, I tried to be more myself, but you can't be yourself on those TV shows.
Especially if you've been typecast into a box. That's why I think I really let the producers down, because they thought I was going to come and disrupt the house and be this crazy person. As soon as I wasn't acting to exactly what they cast me as, no screen time.
No.
People don't realise how scripted reality television is.
100%. So how they did it, they would ask us questions. But the one thing about reality TV, but you think I'd learn after this, I was in there, and I've said this before, I had 2 friends pass away within 3 days of each other. So I left the house and went to a funeral, came back, and then a day later, another friend passed away. And I didn't tell Sam what was going on because I didn't want her to feel guilty. I gave her the respect that she needs to make this decision on how she feels, not feel bad for me because of what's going on. Anyway, she was grilling me this whole time in this scenario. She's like, you're not here for the right fucking reasons. You're immature. And I'm sitting there going, if you knew what was going on in the background, I'm staying here, chose not to go to another mate's funeral to be here. Like, yes, I was silly and I came into this as a joke, but like, I want to commit. And I guess that's when it turned. And I ended up, she knew something was wrong. So we got pulled apart and brought back in, and we sat there and had a really good conversation. She's like, look, Davey, I know something's going on and I respect you too much, but we're not going to do a rose ceremony, but your time's up. And I said, I'm getting tingles on it. I said, thank you so much, because I'm ready to go. Like, I need to be with my close friends. One of them actually died of a heroin overdose. it was this really good connection that we didn't have in there. But when we left, it was like, you're a good person. And I left and said, you know, those guys in there, 5 guys in there, some of the best people I've met in my life. And they were. And what they turned that into was me carrying on like a fucking child. The producers of the show carried on like a child and cut that whole scene out to make me look like I had an argument and bitched it off with her to make the ratings better. So out of anyone that they could have done that to, they chose the worst person who'd obviously gone through the most and sort of suckered me in and lured me in to make me feel like it's going to be okay. But they abused my scenario and then abused my integrity.
Well, so you've just had this heartfelt moment with Sam of her really seeing you, and that was one of your biggest pain points of not being seen.
Absolutely.
And now they've twisted it, and you're probably at home watching it back thinking, did that happen? Am I making this up? Did I think that there was a moment when there wasn't? I do want to bring us back to your story and your brother passing. I had no idea. Do you feel comfortable sharing how he passed?
Like anything's open for this. So this is where I found out through doing a lot of my healing and stuff like that, my brother passed away at 5 weeks old of cot death. And it was on Christmas Eve and 1988.
Christmas Eve.
Yeah, he was born on the same birthday as my brother. So, you know, my mum struggles because she wanted a girl. She tried, and she thought it was her fault that he died. So she's blaming herself, and, you know, she's just... I was conceived not long after his passing. So mum and dad, thank you. Kind of fucked up that you had sex after Adam passing away. But I don't want to lure the fact that my mum was still mourning when she was pregnant with me. So I absorbed a lot of her trauma and her own self-doubt. And that has been ingrained into me. And this self-loathing shame that I have is why I attach myself to drugs. And the homestay could have been perfect where I grew up, but I didn't see it that way. And my body's always said that you're not good enough. You don't deserve this. Drugs are your friend. You're never going to succeed. And it's taken me a long time to kind of realize that that is something that I really need to work on. I don't honestly know if that's ever going to go.
Yeah.
That feeling.
I've been told that unworthiness has been passed down to me by both my parents. And I think through my healing, there's so much of like, that's not my story. You know, I was always told we're really poor, we're really broke, we're not like other families, we can't afford this. And I look back on my childhood, I'm like, no, we were fine. Like stop telling, that's your story, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that's a part of the whole process.
I think back in the day, a lot of our parents didn't really do any work at all, especially fathers.
Yes.
Right? So they lived in this victim mentality. And that is hereditary for other males and stuff like that. You know, you're getting told you're not good enough or you couldn't do that since you were young without just trying to explain it to them. That's going to be passed on and that's genetically enhanced into us to then become less than.
I do want to go back to your childhood, but I think I want to ask this question now. I normally save it for the end. You talking about wanting to already break that cycle was very conscious of you, especially as a male.
Yeah.
Do you want to have kids eventually?
For sure.
And is it important to stay sober for them?
Oh my God, yes. Like the only way I can become a better human being is to get sober. And I'm doing that for my future wife, for future kids, and for my family. My parents were proud, but I know deep down they weren't. What I was doing, that you couldn't be proud of. And the progress that I've done now, I think these are tears of pride, but also like that self-doubt tells me that I'm still not good enough for kids. You know, I've gone off topic, but I to be honest, like I want kids. I want to have my own family, and being sober and doing this, I can be the best partner and the best father figure. There's so many dads out there that could be so much better, but they don't do the work and they're stuck in that routine. they're stuck in that rut of thinking it's all going to be okay and taking on everyone else's stress, you know? And when I went to rehab in South Pacific, they tell you to reparent, and that place changed my life completely, because how I became and what I've become now has formed that, and I had to break down every single barrier in my life and become vulnerable and then grow from that. And I don't think I'm ever going to be ready for a kid, but I'm
Me too.
so fast checked that I know when it happens, I'm the best version of myself. So going on that, yeah, I fucking want kids. I've got nephews, I've got nieces, and I love them to death. I absolutely adore them, but I want my own.
Davey, can I say that you being sober and doubting, oh, will I be a good dad, actually makes you the perfect dad? Because how many people do we see have kids, not even think about reproducing, but suddenly they have to raise a child and everything? So I can't wait to see you become a father one day. I'm really excited. Yeah. What were you like as a child?
I guess I always thought I was never understood, never seen. I was very energetic or sports orientated. That's all I did, because I needed to channel my energy with my ADHD. But with that, my father put a lot of pressure, and I love my dad to death.
Of course, yep.
But he very sports orientated, and he put a lot of pressure on me to succeed, and NRL was supposed to be my career. Now, he put a lot of pressure on me to do that I stopped the love for it. I stopped. I was training 5 times a week. I was playing for 3 different teams. I was trying to play for state. And then that's progressively where I was going to go. But I ended up hating it because he was putting so much pressure on me. And then when I said I don't want to play anymore, he got angry. And then I started taking ADD tablets, and my confidence levels dropped. So I went from captain kicker to being completely in the ruck, consistently being involved in attacking and defense, to the winger. I didn't want to be touched. So growing up, I was full of confidence, full of sport, took ADD tablets, and it fucked me.
Why? Does it relax? I don't take them. Does it relax you completely, or does it take emotion? Like what does it make you feel?
Well, this is how I can say it. You're louder in your head instead of being louder outside.
Okay.
That's the best way that I can analyze ADD tablets. It calms you from the outside, but inside for me, it was fucking loud.
So noisy.
Like I remember sitting in class and wanting to yell at the teacher because I was pretty naughty, right? I was constantly in attention, but I was popular and I played sports. So I was like the pinnacle naughty boy, popular guy. And I remember just sitting in class wanting to say something to the teacher and just like holding myself back and like, you know, and then I'd concentrate, but I couldn't eat. I couldn't do any. They were personality killers, and I was supposed to have them because otherwise, you know, I reckon if I didn't have them, I would be playing like NRL or something like that. Yeah. But also, I don't know because they are obviously a stimulant, right? So it almost gave me the gateway to do drugs.
Yes.
So I look at that, you know, I've been medicated on Concerta, which is 54 milligrams, Ritlin's 5 milligrams. And I was put on these ones for 12 hours and I used to sell them to my friends.
Yeah.
And they would be like fully chewing their jaw and I'd be like, that would make me normal. And then I started selling pingers.
Yeah. Do you remember the first time you ever took a drug?
Yes, a professional footy player gave it to me when I was 16.
What drug was it?
Ecstasy.
How did it make you feel?
The first time I had it, it wasn't as good as I thought. This first time I got stoned, I loved it. But then I started smoking too much weed and got in my head. But ecstasy, it made me feel whole. But it gave me this energy that I could control my ADHD with. Like I could be in the moment, I could talk to people. I was like so loving and caring. When on the other side of ADHD, I'd be angry and fighting and doing all of that stuff. So I guess it gave me a sense of comfortability. And then with cocaine, that's where my drug of choice really became bad, because I started selling that, and then, that made me feel normal. Cocaine. Like, with my ADHD, obviously, people with ADHD release less dopamine in their brain. So cocaine for me was like self-medicating. And I remember being like, this is who I am. This is who I'm supposed to be when I'm on cocaine. Like, I can sit down and talk to you. I can be so friendly. I can listen to you and care what you say. Otherwise, and the tunnel vision, the chaos kind of just quietens, and I can be in the moment like this now. So it became a big manageability for me.
This title of self-proclaimed party boy, what does that actually look like in your life during those days? Is it bendering Friday to Sunday? Is it drinking every second night, drinking every night?
Oh, for me, it was bendering from like Thursday to Sunday, like that's party boy. Everyone likes a drink, and like, this is the thing. Alcoholics, unless you're drinking like a bottle of wine, a bottle of Jim Beam every night, I'd reckon that's an alcoholic, because there's so many people just on the surface of alcoholics but can get away with it with work drinks and stuff like that. Yeah,
because it's socially accepted.
100%.
Yes. Yeah.
So I can't really navigate an alcoholic, but for a party boy, is bendering every weekend and a couple nights during the week.
Me
That's
too.
a party boy.
That was me.
Yeah.
Davey, what I really struggled with my journey was I kind of toyed with this idea of like, well, I'm in my 20s. Everyone is doing it. This is what I'm supposed to do in my 20s. There was this narrative around I'm young equals doing lots of drugs in my head. And I remember the exact year, it would have been when I was 27, that I realised that not everyone was living like me. Not everyone was bendering Thursday to Sunday twice a week. When was that day for you that you were like, oh, I think I'm doing this a little bit too much?
Well, I always kind of knew, but because it was so common around where I lived, it was actually after I had a fatal seizure.
A seizure due to drugs?
Yeah, I was dead.
Tell me.
So I've had 3 seizures. Actually, the guy that was out the front. On my first seizure, he had to resuscitate me back to life. So it's weird that he's there.
Dropping you off to a sobriety podcast.
No, the guy's car was.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Yeah, it was out front.
It's weird that, yeah.
So I didn't know what happened. Anyway, the third one was my fatal one. I'd been partying. I'd been doing half an ounce of coke a day. So I was selling a lot, but I was just sniffing way too much. So every second day I'd go through half an ounce, and then I'd go into work and you have Dexies to sleep. And it became this vicious cycle for 4 months. Anyway, I remember like I was at a mate's house, and after fucking 48 hours of consecutively sniffing cocaine, you can't even get it in. And I was going through a lot of tough times with work because I was letting people down, and I'm going to get up and get an Uber. And I stood up and don't know what happened. 40 minutes later, I woke up on the ground, all the ambulance surrounding me. I'd pissed myself, couldn't get up. My mates were hysterics. I couldn't speak. My parents were there. I didn't know where the fuck I was. I was completely like discombobulated. And they told me that I died. My friends had attempted CPR on me and failed, and he'd given up. And luckily the ambulance came in time to resuscitate me and bring me back to life. Now that's when you think that I would stop.
Nah.
So I went into there. I was in hospital for 5 days, the broken sternum, cracked sternum. Had almost degloved my finger. There was a scar there. I was in a really toxic relationship, and my girlfriend at the time came and saw me in hospital, and we were on really bad terms. We were in a relationship. We weren't on good terms. Like, we were fighting like crazy. And she came to visit me in hospital, but she'd left because she couldn't see me. Anyway, I'm pretty sure, I worked it out, that her her to get over me and move over to me was to sleep with someone else that night.
Whilst you were in hospital?
Whilst I was in hospital. So I came home from hospital. It was like I got out of hospital. Oh, I got out of hospital on Christmas Eve. So I had this seizure very close to my brother's anniversary, his passing, and I came out on his birthday, his passing. So a lot of these things interconnected, but my girlfriend went MIA for 7 days. I couldn't do anything. Like I couldn't sneeze. I couldn't cough. I couldn't get out of bed because my sternum, like I was fucked.
Mm-hmm.
And her disappearing on me for 7 days over Christmas, New Year's, I didn't know what to do. And I'm living in this house by myself, like in Death's Doorknob. And she finally contacts me. She says, I'll go pick some stuff up in the house. I'm like, where the fuck are you been? Long story short, we get to chatting. And then I'm like, if someone asks you for a date, would you go on a date? And she's like, why do you want to know? I'm like, oh, here we go. So we started talking. I was like, have you slept with someone? She goes, why do you want to know? Because you fucking disappeared on me. Like, my mind's going. Mm-hmm. I've just died and come back to life, and you're supposed to be my partner. And she tells me yes. And I said, fuck that. Stumbled, walked, limped, whatever I was doing after I chatted to home, went straight to the bottle shop, got a couple of bottles of red wine, had a bag at home, and I called my best mate and I said, bro, I'm drinking. And he said, I don't want you to drink. And I said, I don't give a fuck. He said, please come round to my house. At least I can monitor you. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I got there. He was having a beer, but he didn't want to drink around me. And I was sneaking off, sculling the bottles of wine, doing shots quickly by myself, acting like I was all sweet. And I tell him I got a bag at home. And he actually got his wife to drop me home and make me go and get the bag and give it to them. So, because I couldn't be trusted with it. As I got home, I poured some out and ran out and gave it to them and said, yeah, that's all I got. When I came in, I actually did some coke. And I remember like walking up to it going, bro, like, you are so fucking dumb. You've just died from this. You've got a cracked sternum. No one's going to find your dead body. What are you doing? And then that just addiction thought was just like, stop being a fucking pussy. Who cares about your life? Your life's shit anyway. Just go and fucking do it. Mm-hmm. And that is when I had my line. And I have an ex-girlfriend that I'm really close friends with. She was on the phone to me the whole time because she knew what was going on. She knew I'd drunk. But I hid it from her that I was on the cocaine. Yeah. And she's like, I don't want you to die. Stay on the phone with me the whole time. She stayed on the phone to me the whole time. I was like, I'm going to go to the bathroom. And as I said, I go to the bathroom. I went and did the coke. Mm-hmm. And that was the last time that I ever did it. The rock bottom that I realized that your life is meaningless and this shitty bit of fucking cocaine means more than what you do. Think of your family. Your mum's just seen another one of her sons dead and you're willing to go put that through her. Mm-hmm. Like, this is bigger than just your fucking addiction, mate. And I had to come to terms with that. And I had to move back with mum and dad, do the whole rehab thing. I was $70,000 in debt because I had like 4 or 5 dealers that I was going through. And obviously when you're sniffing fucking $8,000 worth of cocaine a week.
Racks up.
Yeah.
Pun intended.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, it does.
Has your mother or your father ever voiced that they thought you would die during this time or how worried they were?
Yeah. My mum actually distanced herself from me because she could emotionally see me killing myself and make her go through what she's already gone through with Adam. So she had to. Mm. Sad, but I respect her for it, but she just she never worked on when my Adam passed away, so she can't go back to that place. Mm-hmm. And we fought, but all she wanted was me to get better, and she couldn't see me killing myself. Mm-hmm. So she had to fully... She was there, she was my mum, but we didn't have a relationship, and it was because of me, and it was because of my addiction.
Davey, looking back on your journey, what were you the most ashamed of? And I'll tell you why I'm asking this question, because I think the average punter would listen to this and go, oh, pissing yourself and having an ambo come, that must be your like lowest of your low. Whereas I think for us, it's like the people who we let down along the way, or it's like these little situations where people would be like, really? That's the thing you're most ashamed of? And it's like, yeah. It's like, for instance, my lowest, I don't know why this is the thing I just can't get over. I can't forgive myself. I was on a bender with one of my best mates, and her grandfather who raised her had died. And I remember her coming to me saying, please come home with me. Like, I'm so upset. And I was just so gacked. And I was just staring at her, and I just like, I was like dribbling, and I was like, I'm going to stay here. And I don't know why. It makes me emotional. Like, that's the thing. It's like, oh, I let her down. She can't even rely on me when someone is dying. Like, that's fucked up. You know, that's the thing. I want to know what your thing is.
Thank you for opening up.
It's all right.
There's so many. There's so many. Some of the biggest things I did, like so my brother's anniversary, I subconsciously did this. So Christmas Eve, I would go out the weeks before, but Christmas Eve's anniversary, my brother's passing, and I would get fucked up every single time before that and bend her into it because I couldn't deal with that. And I think it's because I just couldn't bear to see. I felt like I didn't fit in with my family because when we went to see my brother's plaque, I thought, like, these guys are upset at someone who passed away, but I'm here, you know? Am I part of this family? And I felt so disconnected. So I think it became a thing in my house where it was like an unwritten law to talk about Adam. My mum wouldn't talk about it. But I think I subconsciously guilted myself into thinking, well, you're already a fuck up. Why don't you fuck up more? And I always used to bend her into Christmas Eve and Christmas Day and sit there, and my mum would spend 10 hours cooking the night before on the day, and I couldn't even eat it. And I'd fucking be racking up in my bedroom while we having the Christmas hats on and stuff like that. Looking at it now, that's probably some of the biggest humiliating things that I could think of doing. But I mean, for me, I didn't. I mean, when you're in such a hole, there's no light. You're digging yourself down and down and down and down because you're so clouded that you're like, I'm already fucking here. I can't get out of it. What's the fucking point of this? Where like, I should have used that shovel to dig steps and dig myself up. And I had to fucking, I don't know how I did it, but I had to come so clean with every single thing I did. Because, you know, when in your addiction, you lie to people and you
con artists.
Manipulate.
Yeah.
You manipulate people that you know who you can manipulate, right? So I used to think that I was not selfish. I was so generous. But I was only generous to the people that I thought I could get something from.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, so the people that I really cared about, like my mum and my dad, who deserve everything, I gave them nothing. Why? Because I know I can get it from them and they're not suiting my service. They're not going to buy me drugs. They're going to help me get out of the drug debt, but they're going to do that. So I was social climbing to people who I knew I could get something from, and I was so generous. Yeah, dude, don't worry. I'll pay for this bag. I'll shout us all night. But then who pays for that? My parents would have to dig me out of that.
Yeah.
You know, and that's also a shame thing that I bring onto. And I guess, like, addiction is so fucked up on so many levels.
Let's talk about these steps out of addiction, okay? Rehab. Was that your first point of call, getting sober? Or
I always knew I needed to go. I always knew I needed to go to rehab. It was something that was in the back of me, and some of my best mates had gone and they changed their lives. But I thought I had it, you know. For me, I could give the best advice when I was off my head, you know.
Yes.
You listen to me, don't worry about them, tell you what you want to hear, you know. But I couldn't fucking save money. My car was beaten up. I couldn't afford to even pay reg on it because I was like, all my money went to drugs. Sometimes I couldn't even pay rent. You know, I was fucking broke. But I lived this life like, you got to listen to me what I say because I've got my shit together. And no one kind of could see that through social media as well. No one could see anything. Everyone was seeing this and be like, yeah, he's got his shit together, all this stuff. I was fucked. But I guess digging myself out of those steps was, like I said, I had to come down and bow down to everything I'd done wrong. And I had to be completely honest, because to get my people and my parents' trust back and my family back in my corner, I had to tell all my lies to get their trust back. Because if there was something that I missed out, like a white lie that I'd forgotten, there goes all that trust again. And it took months. I remember when I first got sober out of rehab. Oh no, I hadn't gone to rehab yet, and I was moved back in with mum and dad, and I went to the toilet in the middle of the night, and my parents were, you know, sat me at the dinner table that morning and said, "Where were you last night? What are you talking about?" I said, "We heard the door close." I'm like, "I didn't fucking leave. I've been home." And like, "No, we heard the door close. 3:13, whatever it was, you've left the house. Where did you go? What the fuck's happened?" Mate, I went to the fucking toilet. And they're like, okay. So every little thing like that, they questioned on. And fair enough.
Good on them, by the way.
I know.
That's hard to do.
I know. I minimize absolutely everything with them. Because my dad would be like, yeah, he drinks a bit, but he's not that bad. But it's because I minimize it to my dad because I know my dad would believe me. And my dad is my saving grace. My mum would give it to me straight. So I know that I could manipulate my dad. And that's the fucked up thing. I still live with them, to be honest. Because like it's been 21 months or something. I've got my shit together now. I'm out of debt. I'm saving for a property. I've got my business going and I'm writing a book.
Huge.
So the sacrifice, people look at it as sacrifice, oh, you live with your parents. I live with my parents because I'm bettering my relationship and they are seeing the authentic person who I am. And they finally see where I am projecting in life. And for me, rent's expensive. $800 a week rent by myself or having a better relationship and setting myself financially trumps any person to say, oh, you live with your parents.
If I could, I would too. Yeah.
You know, it's tough out there.
Yeah. The financial literacy is something I feel so passionately about from people who have suffered with addiction. I don't have it.
Yeah.
I've really always struggled with finances. I started drinking at 14. Everything went to bags. Like it was in and out, hand to mouth. And I talk about this very openly, and is that thing of honesty. I have found that once I started talking about my addiction and just showing the world my wounds, it has seeped into every area of my life. And now I'm like, I don't have much money and I'm pretty bad with money.
Yeah,
also,
same.
I've had an eating disorder. Like it's infectious.
Yeah.
And how freeing is it once you're honest? I'm like,
I know.
Oh, fuck, I don't give a fuck.
I know. Because I think we live in this, it's just fucking like social media, right? It's a fake life.
So fake.
So when I was selling drugs, it gives you that false confidence and, you know, oh, I'm the big dog, you know, come here, have a bag. Like, it's all right. Have an ounce on me. But then you're there sitting by yourself going, what the fuck have I done? Who are these people? Just to get artificial validation from people that don't matter. Now, that's like a wounded child. That is, you're seeking something that's not real. And it's so empowering to sit in yourself and just own our shit now. And that's the first step of moving forward as well. And that's when, like, I knew that I'd grown. And one of the biggest things I knew that I'd fucking stepped into my own shoes and I'd grown mentally and internally was when someone talks shit about me. And usually I was such a people person and I had to be loved by everyone. That's why I was like, dude, it's all me. I'll be the funny one. I'll take jokes out of myself. And this person who I don't really care about, but said something bad about me and him and his wife. And I just went, okay, I know it's not true. Maybe that's a reflection on them.
I have to start wrapping up the interview.
So
I've
fun.
absolutely loved this so much. How do you, and I want to hear this from a male's perspective, how do you honour that inner child of that little Davey who struggled to feel loved, who struggled to feel seen? How do you honour him today?
I just have empathy for everybody and myself. I have self-love. Like, it's a full journey of trying to find love in yourself. And I guess for me, I talk kindly to myself. I catch myself in feelings, and I mean, if that negative emotion wasn't so fucking powerful and you could be positive all the time, it'd be amazing. But all I do is just say, dude, it's okay. It's okay. How you feeling will pass. And I just give myself that self-love each day. I journal now. I think back at times, and I just tell myself, look where you've come. Look where you come, bro. And look where you could have been. I'm so grateful for my downfall. I'm grateful for everything I've been through, all my fucked up relationships, all my fucked up times, my drug addiction, my deaths, everything, because it's got me into this place right now. It can make me help people.
Well, I would love to have you back on when the book launches.
Yeah.
I see that for you. I see that for your future. Thank you so much for coming on
Pleasure.
Solely Speaking.
Pleasure.